We have the way that other people show up in the world, the stories that they bring. That's also outer meaning. The inner meaning is the stories that we have. It's about where we've come from. It's the stories we tell ourselves about who we are, like I said. It's those things that inform our ever-present moment of now as we sort of try to navigate this complex thing we call reality in the midst of all these other complex things we call humans, in the midst of these complex dynamics we call relationships. These stories are always present inside of us and in others. All those stories are present whenever we show up to the world. Whenever we show up in a moment, those stories are there and they come with the meaning that they have. We come to the present moment with meaning. A meaning that's already made for us. And oftentimes, for much of us, a meaning that's actually kind of shit. Personally, I'm sure a lot of you might have a similar meaning as to what I have in certain scenarios, which is, I'm not good enough. Any one of you that grew up in consumer culture, there's a meaningful story in there. There's a story that tells you that your value and your worth is determined by your productivity and your consumption. And if either of those are faulted, or anyway, your worth is faulted. That's a story. It's also present in the world that we live in. Now, I don't know what it's like here in the Netherlands, but in Canada, there's a story contained in culture, spoken and unspoken, that says that the value of your life is to get an education so that you get more education so that you can go to work either making things or contributing to businesses that make things for other people to consume while utilizing the funds that you get from the making of those things or facilitating the making of those things to buy things for yourself, but also for your family so that your family can be supported to build and create and sustain new beings to buy and produce. And that is the essence of your life. And if you do it long enough, you can be benefited with this beautiful gift, which is now all you have to do is consume. You don't have to make anything anymore. Isn't that nice? 60 years old, pension, retirement. I don't know if you have that here in the Netherlands, but that's the goal. Hey, you get to work your ass off for 40 years doing shit you don't care about so that you can earn the right to be old and your body and mind broken, and you can enjoy the fruits of your labor, which is ultimately just a bunch of useless material things.
Same here.
Okay, cool, and I'm sorry. It's quite difficult to show up with a bunch of stories and basically no other concept of how to navigate the meaning of those stories, the emotional qualities and the perception of the dynamics, to show up to those moments and do something different. How can you do something different? How can you do a thing that you don't know how to do? Even if we try, sometimes we end up just repeating the same story in a different way. So what's a possible solution to this? Well, a possible solution to this is to ritualistically and regularly practice things that disrupt how we see the world, to disrupt the sense of reality that we have. And not only to do that, to come face to face with the way things are in a way that confuses us. Not confuses us so much so that we are injured fundamentally. Not to push the limits so far that we damage ourselves to the point where it's difficult, if even possible, to get back. But increasing amounts, just to the edge of pushing ourselves and maybe a little bit further to disrupt inside of communities of practice, or even practices within ourselves that invite us to wrestle with the challenges that those experiences confront to us. For example, psychedelics.